Hello, I'm Stuart Brocklehurst. I'm Deputy Vice-Chancellor of the University of Exeter, and I'm here at COP30 with a very distinguished guest. Sir, could I ask you to introduce yourself?
I'm Honorable UniofExeter Ratu. I'm a member of Parliament of the Republic of Fiji, and I have been involved in COP for quite a few years. My first COP was in Paris in 2015, COP 21. We are now 10 years after the Paris Agreement, and it's exciting to see the developments that are happening.
Thank you so much. Why is climate change so important for small island and low-lying countries such as Fiji?
Thank you. I am not only speaking on behalf of Fiji, but of course I represent the so many people from small island developing states, and particularly those in the Alliance of Small Island States. We amplify their voice, and we are thankful for such opportunities to represent them in multilateral forums as such. I say multilateral forums because for us, the Paris Agreement back in 2021 gives us a lot of hope. We from the small island countries have high hopes in multilateralism, and this is where we bring our issues, and we know that we are in the front lines when it comes to climate change. We are amongst the most vulnerable in the world, and that is why climate change and the actions according to the Paris Agreement is so important to most of us. As we all know, climate change is global, but its effects is local, and it's brutal, and disproportionately as well. And it affects us, all of us, and therefore we should be part of the solutions as well. And particularly for small island developing states, we have a lot of issues. And for Fiji in particular, if I may mention some of the challenges that we have, one is the changing weather patterns. It's affecting us a lot. For example, rainfall. Rainfall in Fiji now, we can experience 3 months rainfall just within a few hours. That's excessive water, and the infrastructure is not built or not constructed to suit such a high level of water in the communities. Rising sea level, apart from ocean acidification, ocean warming, and that is linked to the cyclones that we have. The intensity and the frequency of the cyclones that we have is the new norm, and this is something that were not happening previously. It affects the livelihoods of our people. One of our problems now, because of the rising sea level, is internal displacement. And we are more concerned, not only for Fiji, but for the region, the Pacific region. I'm speaking on behalf of the Pacific region. Our other major concern is forced migration. While we have issues about internal displacement, then the other major concern that we have is on forced migration. It affects our livelihoods as well. We are dependent on the ocean. We are dependent on our agriculture, so it affects food security. The socio-economic implications is huge. And of course, there's issues on loss and damage as well, which is, again, a major concern for us. And this is why climate change discussions is so important to us. And we are contributing in terms of reducing global warming. When it comes to our nationally determined contributions, we are contributing because more mitigation is good for everyone. Right. More mitigation now means lesser adaptation in the future. But for us, and I wish to stress this, adaptation is so important because adaptation is about our survival. We have the fundamental human right is a right to life. And for us, adaptation is about that right. We have a right to life, and adaptation is about our survival. Therefore, the 1.5 degrees is so important for us, because to stay alive, we need to work towards the 1.5. That is why coming to such meetings is so important to us.
So given what you've said, I'd imagine that you would feel that it's really important for politicians everywhere across the world to have a good understanding of climate change.
I totally agree with that. Politicians have a significant role to play. Politicians, according to me, they are the bridge and also the watchdog. They are the bridge between our international commitments and local action. And of course, they are the watchdog as well. Implementation of the Paris Agreement needs leadership, needs political will. And this is where the role of the politicians is so important. I have been, as I did tell you that I was involved in the climate space a few years back. I was the global climate champion for 2 years, from 2016 to 2018, during our COP presidency. The UNFCCC process can be cumbersome, can be frustrating at times, and of course it requires a lot of cooperation so that we can proceed. But I see hope in the IPU, because in the IPU it's a multilateral body, and that's where all the politicians come. Politicians have an important role. One, in terms of our core function as legislators. We need strong, good climate laws. We can't depend only on policies, but it's time that we look at the laws. The foundation must be the laws. For us, we were the first country to ratify the Paris Agreement in 2016, 2021. We have our Climate Change Act. That is the foundation that has so many sections, components, that lays the bedrock for our implementation of the Paris Agreement. And it's not only about whole of government, but a whole of society approach. We need good legislations. Two, budgetary allocation. As I've said, we are the watchdog and we are the bridge. Let's make sure that our commitments is translated into local actions. And those actions need resources, not only in terms of manpower, but of course financially as well. When it comes to adaptation today, there's a lot of gaps, particularly financially. And the small island developing states or the developing countries, they need finance. And we hope that the financing will come. But of course we have our own responsibility as well domestically. While it's good to rely on the global financing, but of course the local parliaments, that's where the politicians come in. They have to ensure that there are budgetary processes that support the international commitments that we have made. Three is about oversight. And I've talked about being the watchdog. The politicians, they have a role to play. When it comes to the achievements of the nationally determined contributions, the monitoring is so important. The evaluation is so important, so that policies are well informed and it can be in a better position as well to be reviewed come the next cycle of the nationally determined contributions. So that oversight role is so important. And of course, representation. That is the role of parliamentarians. We are the voices of the people. We amplify their voices. We represent their needs, the special circumstances, particularly in the SIDS countries. When we come here, we bring those special circumstances and needs into these commitments. And that is the role of the politicians. And as I've said, politicians, they are the bridge between international commitments and local actions. And the climate change agreement, the Paris Agreement, it requires that political will and leadership. We need action, and not action tomorrow, but action today.
Right.
Because it's so important for all of us. It affects all of us, and we also have a responsibility. We are all in this together. In Fiji, we say sole solevaki, meaning working together for the common good, for the common task, and that is why it's so important for us. And politicians, as I've said, this implementation of the Paris Agreement needs leadership and political will.
So my final question, you mentioned there the Interparliamentary Union, the global association of legislators from across the world. The IPU, together with Exeter University and Arizona State University, have produced this guide for legislators to climate change to provide a straightforward understanding of climate science. Is this something which you think could be useful around the world?
Very, very useful. And again, this is the partnership that I have been talking about. And I think in the SDG goals, SDG 17 is about partnerships. We need to work together. And particularly for us, from small island developing states, we lack capacities. The role of academia is so important. And it's through these partnerships with the IPU that we can get access into. I attended the 149th Assembly meeting, also in Geneva, and there were discussions about how we can improve on our climate laws. These are so helpful to all of us. Reduction of fossil fuels, how the parliaments can, so the guides that are provided by IPU from its partners like yours is so helpful to us, and we look forward to more of this because it fills the gaps that we have, and of course helps us to be in a better position as well to know it, but at the same time to move forward with new policies that will help us in the future.
Excellent, sir. Thank you very much.